Hello there, avid seniors. Welcome back for week 12. We're going to go over what you got going on this week. Um, we have some things to talk about in class on Monday, so please come to class so we can discuss those things. I want to get those graduation stole numbers finalized and get that into ASB this week. We have an AVID club meeting on Monday night, so we should be able to get that all figured out then. And then we're going to be talking about exit interviews. And so that's going to be one of the assignments is to do some brainstorming around what you want to say on your exit interview. I know some of you are hesitant at the idea of being recorded on an interview, but it really does help in me solidifying this program and making sure that people understand how hard you worked and how far you came. And you're the first group. And so they need to know what it takes to become like you one day and have the future that you have going for you. So um, don't worry, it'll be done in the right way. I'm obviously not going to do anything to make anybody look embarrassed or to make anybody look silly. We'll do it in a nice format. So um, let me show you what you got going on for this week. Nothing too crazy. Nothing out of the ordinary, avid type stuff. So week 12, really basic stuff. Update your grades. Keep on those grades, seniors. We don't want to fall behind and have graduation be a maybe. They're going to do a graduation check here. So update your grade log for week 2. Probably in about, let's see, we got about 8 weeks left. So probably in about 5 or 6 weeks, the counselors are going to do what's called a grade check just to make sure that you are on track to graduation and that you're going to actually complete those classes that you need in order to graduate. And so you don't want to wait till the end and try and scoop this thing up in the last couple of weeks. You're not going to have the last couple of weeks. The seniors need to get their stuff done a little bit earlier. So make sure you're staying on top of those grades. That's kind of long story short. Also, Cornell notes this week. The ones you did from last week should be graded hopefully by the end of this week. So make sure you get these done at the end of this week as well, and we'll grade them next week. We'll just keep rolling like that until the end. Okay. I have us right now doing Cornell notes from now until week 17, but I actually might move that back for the seniors. You might finish around week 15 or week 16. So you might only have like 3 or 4 more weeks of Cornell notes, questions, and summary, and you'll never have to take them again unless you want to. Isn't that kind of crazy to think about? Wow. All right. The third thing this week is we're going to do some brainstorming. We're going to talk about this a lot on Monday's class. But basically, I want to do an exit interview with you, but I don't want you to just sit down and be like bombarded with questions that you haven't had a time to think over. So I want to give you those questions ahead of time. So these are the questions I am looking at. They are listed here. But what I want you to do for this assignment is not to copy them unless you have to. I would like you to download this Word document. So you download it. Let's see, open mine up. Here we go. Ooh, it's very not zoomed in. Okay, so make sure to put your name up at the top here. I definitely need your name. Okay. And then these are the questions in bold. And so what I'm looking for you to do in each one is just bullet points. I don't need full-on paragraph responses or anything like that, just some bullet points. And a lot of this stuff, I want you to like put down your initial thoughts, but then maybe you want to change it or add to it. It's okay to have a lot of stuff in here. Like the first one's pretty straightforward. When did you start the AVID program? Was that like 9th grade? Or maybe some of you started in 10th grade. In fact, some of you even started in 11th grade. We have a couple folks that did that. That's fine. It says, think back to when you started AVID. What were your initial thoughts at the time? What did you imagine happening after you graduated high school? What were your thoughts on college and having a professional career? So I want you to kind of step back to when you were a 9th grader or a 10th grader and say like, okay, so what did you actually think was going to happen after high school? Because when you first start high school, you think, man, that's so long from now. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get a job. I don't know. Like, just what were your thoughts? What did you think of AVID? What did you think you might do once you graduated? Did you even think you were going to graduate? I mean, that could be a thing too. So I'm just looking for some bullet point stuff. Maybe you were scared of going to college, seemed hard and lots of work, something like that. What did you imagine happening after high school? Thought I would get a job and stay at home with my family, something like that. I'm not looking for complete sentences. I'm just looking for bullet points. I'd like you to just list as much as the stuff. It's a document, so you want to start this. We'll start it tomorrow in class, and then add to it as things come into your mind. You go, oh yeah, that's right. I remember doing like that, or I remember thinking like that. Okay, so what you're creating here is you're not going to write this up. You're not going to write essay off this. These are questions that you're going to get on the interview. And so what you're making right now is a list of things to talk about. So if you have stories, if you have experiences, if you have memories that you have of certain things happening, just put down bullet point notes so you know what to talk about. They're called talking points. You want to make sure to have talking points. Okay. Okay. And so I would put a lot more than that, but put whatever you can. And I want to go through the rest of these and explain the questions too. So it says, for those of you that came in during 9th and 10th grade, there are two things about AVID that I think make it a lot different than what the other students in the school are getting. One of them we call cohorting, which means that you had me for AVID in biology if you had me 9th grade year, you had me for AVID and honors chemistry in 10th grade year. That's intentional. That wasn't by accident. I actually worked to make that happen. And so I'd like to hear your thoughts about that. Did having me for 2 classes, did that help you be more successful as a student? Did that help you, with learning average strategies faster, just whatever? How did having 2 classes with Mr. Charlton, one being AVID and one being a science class, how did that help you? And then the second thing that AVID did is what we call looping, which means you had me 9th grade year, and then you had me again 10th grade year, and then you had me again 11th grade year, and then you had me again 12th year. So having the same teacher, having me for 3 or 4 years in a row, how has that helped you? How has that, helped you become better? That I want to know the effect it's had on you. Um, Good or bad, totally up to you. I want you to be honest. Okay, so make some bullet point notes in there. You should have some things to talk about, hopefully. Think of a time, an activity, a trip, an experience that you will remember fondly about your time with AVID. Fondly means like remembering, like in good spirits, the good memories about the AVID. For some reason, what's popping in my head is when we all went to that junior achievement and did that whole budgeting thing where you planned like your life with your career, and you got a family, and some of you were like, yeah, I got like 2 kids. And for some reason I remember taking that photo on the wall with the big mural, and we had I don't know, that's just in my brain for some reason. But I'm thinking of Magic Mountain, I'm thinking of some of our discussions with philosophical chairs, and just some of the fundraising things that we've done. And there's just lots of things that I remember. I'm curious to know what you remember. Next one here. What are your plans as of this very moment? What are you thinking you're doing after high school? Are you going to a university? You going to a community college? Which one? Going into the military? You got a career or a job lined up for after high school? Talk about that a little bit. Again, you're not having to type it up. Just give me some bullet point answers of what's going on. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Okay, a lot of you are 17, 18 years old. Where are you going when you're 27, 28? The way things are going right now, what do you kind of imagine for yourself? And I want something realistic. I don't want pie in the sky unless you think that pie in the sky is really going to be a reality. I want real things: family, career, where you're living, how you're living, what you're doing, that kind of stuff. I know life is going to change, and that's what makes this so fun, is because maybe one day you'll come back and look at this and go, oh, I thought that was going to happen. Yeah, it's not exactly what I wanted to happen. Like I've all told you, like if you would ask me at the end of high school, where would I have been at 27? I'd be like, oh man, I'd be in medical school for sure. Like becoming a doctor. And we saw that didn't happen. for reasons I've talked about many times before. Two more. Explain specifically, I really want you to be as specific as possible here. How do you feel that AVID has helped you to prepare for what's coming next in your future? Whether that be, did we prepare you academically? Did we prepare you as a young adult? Did we prepare you with how to resolve conflicts or how to manage your life? I mean, whatever it is you feel that we've talked about in this class, and you're like, man, yeah, I really like this stuff. It really helps me in this way. That's the kind of stuff I want you to talk about here. Okay, so make some bullet points with that. And then just a nice touching one on the way out the door. What's the one thing you're going to miss? Or it doesn't have to be the one thing. What are you going to miss about not being an AVID anymore in high school? I'm not even going to start talking about that because it's going to be a real bummer for me. But I'd like to hear what are you going to miss? What's the stuff that you miss, not just this year, from all the years, from all the stuff, especially this year, you can't really count with the digital learning, but like, what do you miss about AVID or gonna miss about AVID? So what I'm looking for you to do is you'll have a bunch of bullet points all through each of these questions. Try to put as much as you can down, and then save the file, and then you'll upload this into Jupyter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look over your answers. Obviously, I know most of you pretty well. I'm going to look over your answers and be like, maybe give you some suggestions or things that you might want to talk about. And they're just suggestions. You don't have to talk about certain things. But I know that through your own personal experiences and stuff, I really want to let you shine on these exit interviews. So there are certain things that I'm probably going to mention. Hey, you might want to talk about this, or hey, you might want to talk about that. So that's what we're going to be doing this week. A little bit of a trip down memory road, okay? So those are the three things. We'll talk on Monday. So update that grade log. Don't forget, oh, it's not week 11. Look at that, it's week 12. And then brainstorming, which is bullet points for those exit interview questions. Okay? All right, I will see all of you on Monday in class, and we'll talk. We'll share ideas. Okay. Have a good one.